All right, guys, today we have a very special video that I have been excited to make for quite some time. One, for my own sake, because it helps me get organized and actually know what the heck is going on with my own investments, with my own portfolio and all that good stuff. But two, because I also think it'll be very insightful and very cool for you guys to see, but also be able to track over time. In this video today, I'm going to be showing you guys every single CS2 case investment that I own currently at this time, and also show you the total value of these cases and how much money they were able to make me over the past month. Now, obviously, these gains or this money made is unrealized because I'm not planning on selling these cases anytime soon, but it's still kind of cool to see the amounts of money that can potentially be made even in just 1 month. But before we get into that, just want to mention first my cash trading business. If you guys are looking to sell any of your CS2 skins, turn them into cold hard cash, crypto, PayPal, any other payment method, definitely hit me up over on Twitter. It's going to be the first link in the description below. Also, Discord, email, whatever, Steam are fine. We like to get those big deals done around here. You guys already know that. So if you have any expensive skins, knives, gloves, maybe you want to sell bulk cases, maybe your entire inventory you want to cash out all at once, I can help you get a deal done safely, effectively, and efficiently. And by selling to me, you're helping support me, my channel, and my content, which I would appreciate a ton. And that obviously helps us get more videos done like this one. With that being said, let's get right into this video today. So here is a little spreadsheet chart thing that I just recently came up with. Now, again, I have been buying cases very heavily since I would say late 2023 when I first got into CS2 investing, when I first got into the YouTube world. I was kind of all over the place. There was a while where I was investing in Paris stuff. Then there was a while where I was investing in other borderless stuff like Antwerp and Stockholm. Then I started investing in, older bordered stickers like Columbus, like DreamHack 14, like Cato 15, like Boston, Atlanta, stuff like that. Then I kind of went to agents and patches. But then again, over the past year and a half, going on 2 years now, I've been really focusing on cases because I have kind of realized that they are the S plus investment of the CS2 world. So if I'm going to be in the CS2 investing scene, why would I not want to funnel as much money as I can into the best of the best stuff? Now, I have been buying a lot of cases through my cash trading business, and those I've been holding on to. Generally, I don't like to hold on to anything that I'm buying for my business, like to keep my business and my investments separate. But currently, I've just kind of used my business as a way to funnel into more and more cases because, I make enough money in real life. I don't necessarily need any of the money from YouTube or cash trading or whatever to, finance my life currently or survive or pay rent or eat or anything like that. And I want to own a bunch of cases. I think cases are an insane investment. I think they're going to, explode in value over the next 1, 3, 5 years, whatever. So any cases that I'm able to buy through cash trading, I hold on to. And for the most part, any profits that I get for cash trading, I either use them to make YouTube videos like, unboxings or case openings or whatever, or I buy more cases with them. Now, there are definitely certain periods of time where I wish I would have been buying more cases, and I could probably even own even more cases right now. But there's also been time periods where I've wanted to buy some crypto or wanted to buy some stocks or had some unexpected payments or went on a vacation, different stuff like that where I haven't always been able to focus all that money. But also, the cash trading business is very cash intensive, where you constantly need money to be buying more and more skins and getting more and more of those deals done. So sometimes the money has to go right back into the business. So there's not always as much money sitting on the side to be able to buy cases. But whatever, with that being said, everything I'm doing is to be able to buy more and more cases. That should kind of give you guys an idea of what the heck is going on. And I actually went through all of my storage units and all my trades and everything and documented how many of every single case I own. And that is how we came up with this spreadsheet today. So first, I want to start off by just showing you guys how much of each different case that I do own. We'll go over the values. And again, we'll go over how much money they have increased over the month of April from April 1st to May 1st. So at the bottom, I own just a single Chroma Case 1. Now, again, I will buy people will sell me their entire inventory. People will sell me all the cases they own, whatever. So that's how I end up with random little numbers of cases here and there. Somebody must have sold me their inventory or sold me a bunch of cases, and they randomly just had one Chroma Case 1. But I do have a Chroma 1 case, a single one of that. I have 5 Huntsman, 10 Operation Riptide, 13 Vanguard, 17 Gamma 2. You guys can see these numbers here. I don't want to, just sit and read to you too much. Chroma 3 and Chroma 2, I have about 50 of each of those. Glove case, a big one here. I have 118 glove cases. I think that is very, very cool. Obviously, the glove case has been doing very, very well as of late. I wish I owned more glove cases, but I also don't really think I'll be adding to that position at this time because, yeah, the graph looks insane, and yeah, this thing just always goes up in price, but also at some point, I think the prices get a little bit too high, and there's just probably more attractive investments out there. Also, Operation Breakout, this is the one that I had newly been adding to. I have 126 of those. This is a case that I really, really, really like. Having all butterfly knives as your gold is something that's very sick. So that's definitely case that I'm really excited to hold for the long term, and I think those will just continue to rise in value. We have Operation Broken Fang. These have been going really crazy lately. I have 229 of those. That's been one of my biggest gainers over the past month. We have the Revolver case, which is one that I really, really, really like. This is one that I maybe am going to be adding more to because I can see it. It's kind of down here a little bit lower. I only have 282 of these Revolver cases, and if you asked me, and that's another reason why I wanted to document all this. I wanted to actually see how many of every case I have. I want to see how much money of every case I have, so I know where my purchase should be going, what things I should be focusing on, and stuff like that. And I think right now I'm a little bit light on those Revolver cases because it's a case that I really, really like. Yeah, the price point isn't amazing, sitting at about $2.59 right now on third-party marketplaces, but still, this is one that I think will do very well going forward in the future. Also, the Clutch case, I own 385 of those, but again, these are so cheap that it only amounts to about $260. Clutch case is another one that I think I'll be adding to pretty heavily at some point in the future because I do want to just start adding to really any case that's under $1. I think rare cases in the long term are not going to stay under $1. So I think really most rare cases that are under $1 are a steal. So if the Clutch case, as long as it remains under $1, I would like to be adding to that. CS20 is one that a lot of people are talking about right now. I have 389 of those. Fracture case, maybe this will be the next case to go into the rare drop pool. I have 407 of those. The new Fever case, this is I think going to become one of my biggest investments of all time eventually. Obviously, I'm not in a hurry to necessarily be adding to this one right now, but I think eventually this one is going to be a massive winner. I could definitely see myself owning thousands of Fever cases in the not so distant future. Other than that, we have the Prisma 1 case. I have 651 of those. Recoil case, cheapest case in the game right now. I have 667. I can definitely see myself adding to more of these, either before it enters the rare drop pool or literally immediately after it enters the rare drop pool. I can see myself buying thousands of recoil cases because they're so damn cheap. Again, I don't think rare cases stay under $1 in the long term. So once a recoil goes rare, that's going to be one to keep in mind. And then we can see here that I have 6 cases, 6 cases where I own over 1,000 of them. The Shadow case, I own 1,001. Spectrum 2 case, I own 1,030. Danger Zone case, I own 1,553. Snakebite, 2,668. Gallery case, 2,793, which is pretty crazy to see that I own that many of the Gallery case, because again, Gallery case is the second newest case in all of CS2, and to own that many of the newest case, I've been buying these very, very, very aggressively, and again, I do believe the Gallery case will be discontinued eventually, and I do think this one is going to have some very, very nice price appreciation, so I'm happy to see that. And then Prisma 2 as my most owned case at 3,381 of these. Now again, the case amounts don't really matter. At the end of the day, it is the dollar amounts. We'll go over the dollar amounts in a second, but just my first initial takeaway is I am really, really happy that my 4 most owned cases are some of the cases that I have the most conviction in. Again, Danger Zone's a case I really like. Snakebite's a case I really like. Gallery's case I really like. Prisma 2, I've been saying, is my favorite case. If I looked at this right away, what I would say is some of the cases I definitely need and want to add to. I do want to own more Prisma 1 cases. I do want to own more Fever cases. I do want to own more Clutch and CS20. But also, I'm going to be continuing to add to stuff like the Snakebite case and the Gallery case, probably to eventually end up passing the Prisma 2, just because I think they might have a little bit brighter future ahead. But the Prisma 2 case is always going to be one of my top picks. So those are overall how many cases I own. Now, if we kind of highlight this, it's going to show us how many cases I own in total. It's going to be 18,397 cases. That is very insane. I didn't know that, but I also have a decent amount of float balance right now, and I'm definitely going to be adding to this number before too long. We will be cracking 20,000 cases sooner rather than later. It's not that difficult for me to be adding a lot of cases to this thing. Now, overall, the next thing that I did with this chart was look at the prices on April 1st, and then look at the prices on May 1st to see how much price appreciation I had in cases throughout the month of April. Now, obviously, we've been in a little bit of a bull market for skins, a little bit of a bull market for cases, whatever. And obviously prices have also changed between May 1st and today, but I wanted to use the 1st as just a day to anchor everything off of, and maybe I can update this thing on the 1st of every month, and it'll just be a way to track it over time, because I don't really care about the day-to-day, single-day moves. I just want to know the long-term, broad trends and stuff like that, and also this will show me how much money I have in cases in total. So What is interesting here is if we look at the May overall prices and sort these from Z to A, we can see the amount of cases sorted by dollar amount that I own, because again, that's what matters at the end of the day. You're going to have a percentage gain on the dollar amount owned. So we can see here my top 5 cases owned in terms of dollar amount are Prisma 2 at $3,800, Spectrum 2 at $3,200, Phoenix case at $2,033 as far as May 1st prices, Broken Fang case at $1,845, and the Wildfire case at $1,663. Now, again, when I look at this makes me feel like my portfolio is a little bit more out of balance and that I need to do some more balancing. Because, again, some of my favorite cases right now would be Prisma 2, Gallery, Snakebite, Prisma 1, Clutch, stuff like that. I want to be buying those cheap, rare cases, mostly focusing on those. Even something like the Revolver, like I said, I like a lot, and I want to start adding some more to those. So I need to get those a little bit higher up in the dollar amounts. You can see down here, Snakebite, I only have $827 of. Danger Zone is pretty close at $1,615. It's not bad. Clutch case only at $261. Revolver only at $730. Prisma 1 only at $700. I can definitely get the amounts of money on some of these up, which is definitely something I need to do. But we can also do this real quick, highlight all these numbers and see as based on May 1st, what my total dollar amount, my overall case investment portfolio sits at right now, which is very, very crazy to see. I was honestly pretty curious what the exact number was. I had estimates. I was guessing, somebody asked me the other day, and I was guessing somewhere in the 20 to 30K range. And hey, I was actually pretty damn close. $25,239.26 according to, again, this is CS Float. This is actual cash prices of all the cases I own based on May 1st of 2025. Now, the big thing here is how much gains did we have from April 1st to May 1st. We can sort this by profit and loss, and we can see that here is what is going on. Now, I had one case break even. The recoil case sat at 21 cents at the beginning of both of these months for 0. I lost money on 3 different cases. The fracture case went down, the kilowatt case went down, and the gallery case went down. Obviously, what we can see there is active duty cases do not necessarily make the best short-term investment. I know the gallery is an active duty, but fracture and kilowatt are. Gallery is, kind of similar to them in that regard. And then you have a couple cases that I didn't make a ton on. You start to get up into the hundreds, and you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cases that I made over $100 on. Again, in unrealized gains, unrealized profits in the month of April. That is very, very cool to see. Snakebite case had a nice little run up. It only jumped to 4 cents, but again, when you own 2,668 of them, times that by 4 cents, and you get an overall big gain of $106. That's cool to see. Phoenix case up $152 throughout the month of April. Breakout case, even though I only own 126 of them, again, the price is so high, $8.40. We had a $182 gain. Very, very cool to see. Operation Wildfire case up $307 there. Prisma 2 case went from under $1 all the way up to $1.13. And again, that is my most owned case. So having my most owned case in terms of case amount and I believe in terms of dollar amount, having a nice little jump up. Again, I believe the Prisma 2 case has very, very strong fundamentals, led to a $540 gain in the month of April, which is very, very cool to see. Glove case, again, I only own 118, but it's been on fire, going from $8.20 up to $13. $565 gain there. Spectrum 2 case going from $257 to $314. That led to a $587 increase. And then finally, Operation Broken Fang, the discontinued case that I own the most of, went absolutely insane in the month of April for a $618.30 gain. And again, if we add all this up, add all this profit and loss up here, we get our final number of $3,410.91. Obviously, I was rounding that up to like $3,411 as far as our overall profit and loss. Again, an unrealized profit and loss for the month of April. So very, very cool to see. And again, I did want to show you guys all this insights. I have no problem being transparent. I have no problem showing you guys what I own, what I'm investing in all the time. Obviously, I can't every single video show you every single storage unit and everything that I own. It's just not even feasible. But I have no problem doing stuff like that. I have no problem showing you guys what I'm investing in, the amounts of money I'm investing in on Discord, on Twitter, in my videos, in my content, anything like that. And yeah, I want to show you guys that CS2 case investing is insanely profitable. The gains historically have been absolutely insane, and I don't think they're done just yet. I do think this is going to be carrying over in the future, and there's going to be a lot more CS2 case investing content and all other kinds of CS2 investing content, hopefully other kinds of stuff as well here on this channel for the foreseeable future. So I appreciate all of you guys, like I said, helping support this channel, helping support my cash trading business, helping support everything I do, which allows me to add more and more of this. And I do hope that one day, eventually, this will lead me to some very, very cool things financially, and hopefully, eventually my ultimate goal is obviously financial freedom and being being able to do the things that I love and, you know, buy my free time back and all that cool stuff. So hopefully we can get there one day. Hopefully CS2 cases can be a big part of that. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Hopefully catch you in the next one. Until then, peace.